Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome to today's tour video for a now completed Mount Komorebi for my Sims 4 save file called the Disney Save. If this is your very first video of mine, hi, welcome. I am working on a save file for the Sims 4 that is completely based on Disney. So every lot, every sim, everything is being redone and refashioned after various Disney movies. Every world is themed after a collection of movies that fit really well into the space. And I have completed Mount Komorebi. It is ready for you guys to have and download, and I'm excited to show it off today so you guys can kind of get a glimpse about what you're going to be downloading. The download for it is linked in my description box down below. It is going to take you over to my Patreon. You do not need to be a patron to download the Disney Save or any of my other versions of the save file. You never will have to be a patron. I always open it up to the public. However, if you do want to support the Disney Save on Patreon, I do very much appreciate it. You will have access to early perks, behind the scenes content, access to my private Discord where we plan out the save file, and a little bit more depending on your tier. So check that out, linked down below. And let's get into today's tour video for the world. This has been a long time coming. I actually kind of completed the builds for this, I think at the beginning of this year, but I never finished the world and completed it and got all the townies redone and did the testing, and then now it's ready to go. So I'm excited to show this off. So the way that this is broken up is basically going to be 3 sections. The very top of the mountain here is all Frozen themed, and you'll see beautiful Arendelle Castle up here in the top right. We'll be going there momentarily. This center area is pretty much all commercial, I believe. Yes, it is. So we've got a little bit of Mulan, a little bit of Monsters, Inc., a little bit of Tinkerbell, and I believe this one here is actually also Frozen. And then down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have more residential, and it is all Mulan. There's one Mulan gym here, and then there's one karaoke bar down in this corner because, of course, this world has to have a karaoke bar. And this karaoke bar, I'll show you guys at the end. This is one of my favorite things about this world, but it is themed after all of the Disney princesses because they like to sing, so it kind of makes sense to theme that. So let's start up at the very top of the world with my castle for this world, and please bear with me on the loading times. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video. I'm also rendering something in the background for another video that's going to be coming out, so the loading times may vary between lot to lot here. All right, we are here. This is my Arendelle Castle. Again, our castle for this world. It is absolutely massive. I definitely recommend checking out. I've done, I believe, a speed build and a tour video for this castle. Hopefully I did the tour video. Usually for all of my castles, I do tours so that you can get a little bit more of an in-depth look. We've got a very full household here. We have, of course, Anna and Elsa. Let's go see where Miss Elsa is in here. We have Anna upstairs in the study, and we have Kristoff, we have Olaf, which is technically Elsa's like child, because I did it as like a child of magic kind of a deal. We have Sven, who is a dog somewhere in this area, and then something that's going to be new even for my patrons because this was added in the testing phase of this castle. It's such a large lot and there's just so many rooms and spaces. There's even like an entire downstairs area that I created for all of the castle staff and servants that would inevitably live in a space like this. I decided rather than have just a bunch of empty bedrooms, we would actually fill it. So I created 3 castle staff members that are shown in the movie that I had kind of forgotten, but my boyfriend pointed out that they're shown a couple of times as like background characters. So they are here. They all have cleaning and cooking aspirations to help kind of move things along in terms of keeping the castle cleanly. Each character has their own room. You can choose to move them in together if you want to. This is Kristoff's room. I believe Olaf's is actually downstairs. It is. He gets this gorgeous white room. And then Anna and Elsa have their rooms on the top floor based on their versions from the movie. One is pink, one is purple. Very similar. Super, super, super cute. This castle was so much fun to build. It's one of my favorite things I've ever made. And Elsa is actually a spellcaster because I felt like it made sense for her to have some kind of magical abilities. She's primarily focused in nature and like water and ice abilities. She doesn't really have any wand or broom or anything like that as of right now, but obviously everybody can do their own thing when it comes to the Disney save. That's kind of the point. You can follow the stories, you can do whatever you want with the characters. I'm just kind of creating the backdrop so that everybody has a place for the characters to play. So the next place that I want to take you guys is going to be right next door. I don't know if we're going to pop into every single lot in this world. These videos tend to be a little bit longer, but I do want to pop into this one because I think it's going to be a really popular one. One of the lots that you have to have for Mount Komorebi is the sauna, and it helps you with the mountain excursion. It's the first thing that you have to do to get to the mountain excursion is go to this lot here. And I decided that we were going to base this after Oakens Sauna, the Oakens trading post from Frozen, and we were going to make it based on the movie, of course. So we've got, it's kind of like it's supposed to look like a retail store, similar to how it would be in the movie where they sell all of the climbing equipment and winter gear. So the front entryway is the storefront. The back end of it functions like the sauna that you need for this lot to function properly. And there's a couple of different ways. You have the one that's inside so that you have indoor cover and like big storms. And then we've got the outdoor one just in case. And also because it's beautiful. And Oaken and his family are all townies in this world. They clearly didn't get a house, but they will be seen wandering around. And then one over from this one, we're going to be going over to Aladdin Village. Now, oh, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. I don't even know my own world. The next one over is Latte Go. This is a Frozen themed cafe. The lore of it is something along the lines of it is a cafe that Elsa and Olaf run, or that Elsa created for Olaf out of ice in his honor. So it's technically owned by the royals. You can't own cafes in The Sims 4. Unfortunately, you can only own like very specific businesses, but it was such a cute idea. Couldn't resist. It's all ice themed. It's got little tributes to snowmen and Frozen bits here and there. The building itself is based on Norwegian architecture, kind of. The best that I could possibly do. And base it off of, you know, like the movie. And it triples as like a place for music and entertainment. Sometimes you have people come that'll start singing and playing the piano. This upstairs area is supposed to be more of like an ice cream parlor. So it's like a place to come get refreshing drinks, ice cream, and kind of sit out by the fire. It's really nice after or before going on the mountain excursion. And the point was that it was supposed to be like super overwhelmingly white and crystal and very bright in here. Like everything is made out of snow and ice. Now, if we go next door, we have Aladdin Village. And I try to put at least one rental in every single one of my worlds. I actually went back and updated an older version of Willow Creek that did not have a rental, because the thought is that a lot of people are probably going to create Sims that are either your Sim self or maybe a custom character so that you can participate in the world of Disney. And I wanted you to have a place to stay that's open and available so that you can either clear the lot and put a house down if you really wanted to, or just kind of visit the worlds as vacations. So each one has, so far in the save file, with the exception of Forgotten Hollow, has a vacation home. And for this world, we decided, my patrons and I decided that we would do a section of Aladdin Village. So it's this absolutely massive rental location. And technically, it's all one location, but you can pick to stay in any of the 5 houses. This is just how the village is designed. I specifically stole screenshots from the movie and brought the bright colors, the way that the houses are connected, and really wanted it to be like a section of the village. And each one is a village home. And you can pick to stay in any one that you want. The bedrooms and the bathroom situation is going to vary. The decor is meant to be a little bit lighter in here so that it doesn't feel too themed. It just feels maybe time appropriate and movie appropriate. And they're all very similarly designed. The colors are just going to be a little bit different depending on which one you pick. So Overall, it doesn't really matter. You can stay across any of them. And because of how much furniture is here, this rental is actually going to be a little bit pricey. Now, something that I do want to show you guys really, really quick, and something that I do occasionally, and I hope I'm not spoiling anything on the gallery here. I'm going to go ahead and skip past some of that other stuff. We have a lot replacement for this lot. So what that means is sometimes there's so many good ideas for the save file that I can't help but do a couple and have them fit in a specific place. So if you want one more residential for this world, I have something on the gallery called Northuldra Village based on Frozen 2. It's a little like campground village with a couple of houses. Each one is basically like a bedroom, and then there's one that's a kitchen and one that's a bathroom. And it is supposed to be the Northuldra from Frozen 2. And I have the Northuldra household to go with it. We have Honeymaren and Ryder and Yelana. And if you still want these characters, they're going to be in the save file anyway. They roam around as townies. Elsa and Honeymaren have a little bit of a love connection, and all characters that know each other are supposed to know each other, so you don't have to go find them if you want to use these characters. Elsa already knows Honeymaren and Anna and stuff like that. They all know each other already, so that's there if you want it. And while we're here, just so that you guys can kind of see, all of my builds for Mount Komorebi are on the gallery. They're ready for download. They've all been play tested. The only one that I think I need to change out is the Mulan gym, and I'll explain why in a little bit here. I also want to point out there's 3 bonus lots in this world. We have 3 separate buildable lots for each of for the mountain excursion. There's 3 separate lots that you could add extra stuff to. And right at the tippy top is Elsa's castle, which I'm not going to be able to show you guys in today's video. It's not like super easy to get there necessarily, but it's there. And if you just want it, it's on the gallery, but it's a fun treat to get all the way to the top of the mountain and to find that there. It's really, really nice. Another thing that you're going to run into up the mountain is the Yeti Cave. This is based after Monsters, Inc. There is a little snow cone maker in here, a little ice cream maker, and some lemon snow cones, and a sled and things to pay tribute to the movie. The Yeti is also a townie in this world, so he kind of runs around, the abominable snowman. And then the other one that we have, again, the screenshots are terrible from the gallery, but just picture this, is Periwinkle's Ice Cottage. And Periwinkle is Tinkerbell's sister. She is an ice fairy. There's a couple of movies that she's in. She's also a townie for this world. She's right here. She is a sim that specializes in ice, and she's a magic sim as well. I'd love to be able to make her a fairy one day, but we just don't have that in the save file right now. General Mateus from Frozen is also a townie in this world. We've got Hans and Duke. They'll run around as well. You'll be able to see them in the world. And there's tons of other Frozen things, but that's pretty much it for this general area. Now let's go down to the next neighborhood. We'll pick a couple of the commercial locations. I know there's one that I definitely want to show you guys. It's super, super pretty. Well, I really do. I love a lot of these lots, so maybe we'll pop into each one really quickly. The first one is a national park, which I've done basically as a way to do a water garden, because this is a water fairy garden based after Silver Mist from Tinkerbell. Silver Mist is not located in this world as a townie. She's actually going to go in a household with Tinkerbell later down the line. That was always planned. However, Periwinkle wasn't a part of like the main crew, so I felt like it was okay to make her a townie. And of course, if you wanted to add her into a future household, you can. That's the great thing about the save file. You can kind of just move things around depending on how you want to play certain aspects of it. But one of my patrons had this brilliant idea to do like not just a garden, but a water garden, which is so unique, gorgeous, perfect for a world like this. Like this is exactly the type of thing that you would need. And you can come here and have a picnic. You can enjoy all of the different water. It's called the Babbling Brook. It's a reference to Silver Mist. Again, very small, very pretty. I love this lot. Simple. But right next door, the thing that I am actually surprisingly excited about, I didn't have this idea originally, but again, a lot of my patrons were like, we have to do the Emperor's Palace. And originally it was going to be a residential where the Emperor would live here and all of that. But it was such a good idea to, instead of do it as a residential, add an art center, because that is something that I haven't personally been able to add to the save file yet. It's a lot type that doesn't get utilized very much, and it just makes such a gorgeous setting for like a cultural center and a place to display art and encourage like people to come and use it for such. So the emperor and his 3 daughters, who are love interests for some of the Mulan characters, are townies in this world. Again, if you wanted to convert this into a residential, it would be really easy to do so, but for the purposes of the save file, we have it as this gorgeous art center. You can come here. There's so much to do, literally so much. There's a bar, there's places to paint, there's tea. I'm actually going to replace this with the one from My Wedding Stories that you can use. There's places to paint, especially from still life. If you go upstairs, more painting stations, places to practice music, woodworking tables. Like, it's a beautiful cultural center. And it was a way to use the shell of the Emperor's Palace and have it be represented in the save file. So very, very, very happy about how that turned out. Right next door is another Monsters Inc. build. This is our main restaurant for the world, and it is a Japanese sushi restaurant, or I guess just generally a sushi restaurant. The menu I have customized. The outfits have been customized and catered towards things that I thought were good from the movie or shout outs to the movie. So let me just pop into it really quick. I believe like we can just take a quick look. They sell things that are specific to Mount Komorebi at this restaurant, wines. We've got like, you know, Asian dishes, lots of sushi, and things that I thought were cute, like things that I thought were kind of reminded me of like Mike or Sully or Monsters Inc. in general. And it is Harryhausen's from the first Monsters Inc. movie. So it's this very high-end, very small. I think I even made this like a celebrity hangout or hottest spot in town. So the idea is that it's difficult to get into and limited seating. And it's just a gorgeous, slightly modern sushi restaurant, where in the back here, it's a bar, but this is meant to be the station where you can see them prepping your food, kind of like hibachi style, which is something we don't have in The Sims, but we can kind of represent it in that way. And there's only a couple of places to get a table in here, so if you're not in quick, you're not in at all. Thank you so much. The one thing I want to express about this restaurant is, as much as I love it, it seems to have some of the issues that the dining pack does have, which is that sometimes it's pretty buggy in here, and it depends on how many Sims try to roll up in here. I tried my best to combat it, but there's only so much you can do when the pack that it comes from is kind of busted anyway. So I just wanted to put that out as a disclaimer. Love the restaurant, but it is what it is. Now, technically, this one next door is also a restaurant, but this is a multi-functioning lot based on Mulan. It's called Honor to Us Hall, and it is supposed to be the matchmaker's house. So the idea is that you can come here and you can get everything that you need to see the matchmaker, to prepare for the matchmaker, and the lot can be changed into a retail location. And it can also be the restaurant that it is by default with the very, very limited menu. So the reason that it would be a retail location is because we've got this little place over here that sells formal wear. And there's also some places to kind of prep to see the matchmaker. So we've got the makeup station. And then this building over here is like a bathhouse, essentially. And then if you get through the main gate and you go in here, it's a very quaint, tiny, basically tea restaurant. There's not a lot served here on the menu. That was very intentional. Again, we've just got lots of teas. There's a couple of things here for food because I felt like if I didn't put any food on, people were going to be confused. So we've got a couple of really, really simple things that I felt like would fit well here. And it's literally like 3 tables. I put these in here, but they don't count as tables for the dine out pack. What are these called? Kotatsu tables. They don't count as tables that you can sit in for dine out. So unfortunately, those don't really count. The downstairs, gorgeous, really, really intricate and pretty. Love the tiles in here. Like, I just love this place. Love, 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 gorgeous. Honor to Us Hall. It was, the name came from my boyfriend. He's brilliant with things like that. He just like comes up with random stuff. And then the last thing in this section, in this commercial area, I have it marked as a generic lot, but now that we have the Wedding Stories pack, this is going to be updated to be a wedding location. And it's based after Frozen. This is called Trollfully Wedded, and it is based, again, after the scene in Frozen where the trolls are trying to marry Kristoff and Anna. So it's kind of like a really pretty place to do a weird ceremony. There's like this hole in the ground, and this functions. You can get married in front of it. You can get married down here. I'm pretty sure I tested it both ways. There's also lots of little things to like find here if you're doing collecting, and you can get your Sims to like manage to steal some of these things. If you wanted to use it for that, you can use this lot for that. But yeah, I'm going to be changing it so that it is technically a wedding venue. So that's going to be the wedding venue for this world. Kind of unique, probably going to be for a smaller ceremony. There's some benches and things around for Sims to be able to go and sit, but it's not meant to be like this extravagant thing. And then we'll pop into the Mulan section of Mount Komorebi. We've got 3 residentials here. The Fa family farm, this massive one in the corner. We've got Shang's soldiers and Shang's little camp. And then we have the Huns. So the Huns and Shang's soldiers are both in their own club. They hate each other. Their goals in each club is to like fight each other and to hate each other and play pranks on each other. So that's a fun little thing. And then in the middle is Raging Fire Gym, which is a Mulan outdoor gym that is based after the training sequences in the Mulan movie. So the idea is that that's the only thing that kind of like separates the two of them, and they both use this as their club hangout. We'll check out the gym in a minute, and my patrons are going to be excited to see it because I have made some changes to it recently from the speed build video. So if you checked that out, and if I wasn't clear on that, I do speed build videos and create a sim videos for every single one of these builds and sims. So if you want to hear more about them or see them being created, check out the Disney Save playlist. It's going to have everything starting from the beginning of the save file. I have done Willow Creek, Evergreen Harbor, Forgotten Hollow, Mount Komorebi, and I'm finishing up Henford on Bagley. And we're going to be moving into Sulani next. So we're moving into our 7th world for the save file, and there's a ton of content. If you want to go through and just binge a bunch of stuff, you will be ecstatic if you're a Disney fan. Hopefully you like most of what I've done. So we have the Fa family farm. I gotta be honest, it's fall in the save file right now, and I don't think it does this farm justice. But it's based after the one in the animated movie. It's got the garden all along the back, this river, the fence and everything. Not the fence, the bridge. We've even got the bench with the cherry blossom tree that her father sits under. I wanted to make sure that that was a big point. And this was created before we had ponds, which is why I've done like the pool river or the fountain river back here. But I loved it so much I didn't want to change it. Oh, I should probably show off this from Mulan. They can come in here and use the meditation station. Actually, down below it is Mushu's room. He is a sim in this household. We decided to make him a human. It's kind of a toss-up what characters are going to be humanized and what are not. But usually if a character has a lot of human qualities, it's a lot easier to make that decision. So some of them won't be made into humans, but I didn't feel like putting him into a cat body did him justice. So he's actually a spellcaster, and one of his jobs, he has a custom job called Guardian Spirit. These very special magical sims serve as guardians to a sim without magic to help them meet their goals and aspirations. So a lot of my sims like that have custom jobs, like all of the Arendelle Castle staff, or all of the Arendelle Castle residents have royalty as their job. And another thing I should point out with the save file is I've implemented a lot of clubs. So all movies in the save file have their own club. This is the Mulan club. The idea is that if you wanted all characters to be able to gather really quickly, you'd be able to hit one button and do like a club gathering, and they'll all kind of show up, at least most of the major characters in the save file. So this is pretty much everybody from Mulan. There's some other characters like her parents, the mother, the grandmother, that are not going to fit in the club, but for the most part, this is going to be like your major character. And then I have other clubs that depending on like how appropriate they are. How do I get to my clubs? Oh, I have other clubs depending on the character where it makes sense to actually like implement a club. So Mulan is in Shang's army because again, we did the Shang and the Huns as two separate clubs that kind of despise each other. So these guys are all in a club together. And then she's also in the Disney Princesses Club. Right now we have Tiana, Anna, Elsa, Mulan. They're the only ones in the save so far, so they've all made it into this club. But this club obviously is going to be tough to pick, and I think I'm going to end up doing 2 different Disney Princess clubs. And just so you can kind of see, this is Mulan's room. The grandmother's room. Their house is so gorgeous. I did a lot of research when building this home, especially for the time period, to try to figure out the structure, the layout, get different references for things that you might see. Because you don't get shown like all of the inside of the house. This is the parents' room in the movie. Oh, we have a sparring room where they have the armor that Mulan steals, the sword that Mulan steals. And it's a farm also, so I've updated with cottage living in here. They've got chickens running around. I think there's another one around the back, another chicken coop. And they've also got a dog. They've got little brother. And they've got Cricky as a cat. See, that's where I feel like that makes sense. Like, we're going to make it a cat because it doesn't really have a lot of human features. And so that's the Mulan household. We've got a bunch of Mulan's townies. There's some ancestors running around that are going to be ghost sims. There is the matchmaker herself. She doesn't get a residential, but because she's mentioned in Honor to Us Hall, she does run around as a townie. We'll go check out Shang's soldiers really quick. Where are you? Shang's camp. So these guys all live in this like off-the-grid camp setting, which is really neat. It makes sense per the movie that it would be off the grid. They really love it though. And there is like training equipment. There's some chess tables and things like that. And the idea is that they all live in tents on the campgrounds. So please ignore the lights. They drive me crazy. And I'm so sorry about that. But this again, this is like the various tents that are shown in the movie. Each one is a bedroom for each of the characters. There's like an outhouse back here. And then Shang's got the big tent in the middle where he has his little planning area, war tactics, and his training station. And then there's one that's like a kitchen so that this could be super functional, and an extra one for fun because Sims will get bored. So they've got this cute campground. Now the Huns also have a campground, but it's different because the Huns themselves are based after Mongolians. So I did a little bit of research into like traditional Mongolian style camps to try to figure out what would a camp look like for these guys. And they used a lot of round tents and round surfaces for their structures. So it's similar. It's an off-the-grid camp, but the tents and the way that the camp is like planned out, different. And the idea is that this one doesn't have as much fun. It's more closed in as well. We've got, they used to dig like trenches into the ground and build their camps into that, is what I've read and researched. So I wanted it to be like up against a wall towards the back. And this is the main tent in here, Shan Yu's tent. So this is his like similar area where he would plan for war strategies. This is his tent, his bathroom, his private bathroom. They have their own kitchen, their own bathroom, and then all of these guys share a tent because again, like the idea is that this is not as nice of a camp. They're not as like caring towards one another. The camp itself is like nice. It's just that they're not as like tight knit of a bunch. They're not like brothers. They don't have that camaraderie. They're just like more there by necessity, and they're not as like friendly with one another. Lastly, well, not lastly, but we'll just jump in here really quickly. The gym that goes right in the middle, Raging Fire Gym, is a completely outdoor Mulan themed gym that has different little things that are shout outs to the movie. So there's a lot going on here. It's kind of hard to see everything because we've got a lot of trees sort of blocking it in, but that's intentional. The way that this gym was originally built, there was no structures at all. So these little structures, non-existent, but I was having Sims in the testing phases of the save file, and this is why I do this. I was having Sims die in masses here because of the cold. So I've added some things to combat that. You should still be careful with Sims here. There's lots of things to help warm things up. You can light this fire pit right in the middle. It pretty much saves everything. But just so you know, this is a danger zone for Sims, and you should be careful who you take here and not pay attention because you're going to have some issues. So we've got the little like area where they jump and they train across the water. This is obviously a pool. They can swim here. This little hut is an outhouse. They can take showers out here. I didn't find any Sims getting embarrassed, so that was a really good thing. There is a place to meditate. There is a place over here to dive into the pool. We've also got some climbing stations in here. I wanted there to be rock climbing. I tried desperately to find the rocks from this pack that are rock climbing walls so that you could hopefully actually climb those, but they didn't include it in the debug catalog, probably specifically. And we've got these, so you can do your kickboxing. And there's some different equipment in here, kind of concealing the fact that it's very modern equipment with the structures. I've also placed this in here with tool. Don't worry about the fact that it's risen a little bit out of the ground. It's intentional, and it still functions. It's placed in there with tool, so it's totally, totally fine. We have the doll here from the movie. If you know, you know. So that's Raging Fire Gym. And then lastly, really quickly, we will jump over to the final lot, which doesn't really have as much of a theme compared to, or I should say, it is not on theme compared to everything else in this world. It is its own theme, and that is Disney princesses. So I can't remember who came up with this idea. I think it was one of my patrons. Again, they create like literally the best ideas. This is why I'm so grateful to have a community. Somebody came up with the idea to do a princess themed karaoke club because the princesses love to sing and it just made sense. So I built the outside of the structure. It is based after, I think it's called Princess Fairy Tale Hall in Disney World, and kind of based after the one in Disneyland. It would be the place that you go and do the meet and greets with the princesses. So that's what this exterior is based off of. It's also supposed to be a little bit like castle-y, a little Cinderella's castle inspired. We had to do it because Disney princesses. The inside, what's really cool about this is one of my most unique builds, is that the way you do this is you basically come in and instead of it being karaoke like all over the place, you get to pick a room depending on the mood, depending on the characters, the vibe. So there are 6 rooms in here that are each based after a different princess. We have Tiana's room, and they have no CC paintings for each room as well. That is a little fun trick that I've learned how to do recently. These will not flag as custom content, and if you go and download this off of the gallery right now, you will get these paintings and they will not be flagged as custom content. That one was Snow White. This one is Rapunzel's room. And this one is Mulan's room. Another fun thing I have to show you guys is each of the windows has something poking into to look inside the window that is themed after the character that the room is for. So this is Mulan and she's got the dragon. Oh, you can't even see that one because of the banner. This one for Rapunzel, she's got the sunflowers and the castle. Over here, Tiana's got the frog fountains. Snow White's got the apples. And then upstairs, there's 8 rooms. I don't know why I said 6. There's 8 rooms. We have Jasmine's room. Also, these paintings are stolen from the Princess Fairy Tale Hall in Disney World, too. They have these like beautiful paintings of each of the characters. And I stole them and put them in the save. This spindle, beautiful. We've got Beauty and the Beast. Not Beauty and the Beast, sorry. Sleeping Beauty. Belle actually doesn't have a room because she's not included in the Fairy Tale Hall. We have Ariel. She is my own addition. She's not included in the Fairy Tale Hall either, but I needed an extra space. And then funny enough, Cinderella's not included either. So I added these 2. I chose Cinderella and Ariel to fill out these last 2 rooms so that we would have something up here. And that is Princess Fairy Tale Hall. Or Smile in a Song is what we ended up calling it. The karaoke club. So you guys, that is my version of Mount Komorebi. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you would like to check out the rest of the Disney Save, the playlist is linked down below for all of the Townie Creative Sims, regular Creative Sims, speed builds, tour videos, catch you up on everything up until this point so you can see all the other worlds, all the other tour videos. If you want to support the Disney Save on Patreon for special perks, early access, and the opportunity to help plan the save file in my patron Discord, the link to that is down in the description box below as well. Let me know what you guys thought of it, and stay tuned because the tour video for Henford on Bagley should be coming up soon. I'm actually almost done with that world. I'm testing it right now, and that'll be out probably in the next week or two here as well. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you all in a later video, and bye everybody.